Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In. On my crackhead update, it's a guy who lives on the first floor with me. I was out at one of the exit doors standing outside with my Bluetooth speaker jamming, and he walked up and started talking to me. Well, he didn't walk up, he's on a walker. And me and him started talking. And you see homeless people walking by all the time. This is a high rent area, so we know they don't live here. They're just walking, going on their way to the train station. And he told me, he said, man, he said, I used to smoke crack myself. I looked at him. You never know about a person past. Like, he don't know. I've been to prison all them years because I ain't never told him. He don't know that I got a YouTube channel. I never told him that. Well, anyway, he said, man, I was homeless for 2.5 years. He said, I was homeless by choice. He said, I had a place to go to live if I wanted to go there. He said, man, I was just hustling. He's stealing out all these stores, supporting my crack habit. He said, so I don't sympathize with these homeless people. He said, because a lot of them is out here because they want to be, or they panhandling, and they got a place to live. That's their side hustle. That's passive income for them. After they done blowed all their money on drugs, they go out and panhandle to keep the addiction going. I looked at him. This guy's clean. He always got designer clothes on. They say you don't never know a person's past. And he don't know my past. That show you a person can change if they want to. He said, man, I ain't had no counseling or nothing. I just woke up one day and said, man, I'm tired of wasting my money. I'm tired of being nobody can't trust me. Nobody don't want me around. The hell with this. And I stopped smoking crack. It's that easy to do. You know, I did cigarettes the same way. That's about my third or fourth time quitting smoking. But then I didn't start smoking cigarettes till I was 35 years old in prison. That's when I started smoking my first cigarette. I didn't smoke cigarettes. I didn't drink coffee. I had zero habits. I didn't have no habits. Well, anyway, that's my crackhead update. Y'all know what it is. Get your shanks out. And let's get ready to ride. I had somebody in the comment section ask me about, tell the story on how Wildcat rose from a regular guard through the ranks to make warden. Well, when I first came to prison, 1975, Wildcat was already a warden. He was a senior warden then. Now, the only thing I know about his past, I've talked to some older convicts who know him. Like I spoke on a guy named Mr. Forbes who served 52 years. And he was declared actual innocent. 52 years. And now he knew Cat when Cat was young. When Cat was a field major. He knew Cat when Cat was a captain. He knew him then. Now, Mr. Forbes, he discussed some of his past with me. But one thing I knew for a fact, he was hell on wheels back in the day. He was single cell. He didn't have no cell partner. And Cat himself calls him Mr. Forbes. That's why Cat addressed him. How you doing, Mr. Forbes? He worked in the vegetable room at Ramsey. Him and a couple more old guys, they prepare all the vegetables. And once they get through that, they can go to their house. They off work. And also, Mr. Forbes carried a long-ass buck knife. And Cat knew he had it. He carried it everywhere in his pocket. And he got onions, garlic. He don't do no hiding. Sometimes he do just like one of turnkey. He pull his knife out in the chow hall and cut an onion or something. And the turnkey just looked the other way. They know not to mess with this old man here. He got zero tolerance. And he served 52 years. And his wife stayed down with him all them years, man. That man get visited. He was from Beaumont, Texas. His wife come visit him every 2 weeks. Like clockwork. He get mail. But he would refuse parole. He said, I didn't do the crime. He wouldn't take the parole. That ain't never make sense to me. I would tell him, hey, man, go to the outside and fight your case from the outside. Hell, sometimes he'd be so mad he wouldn't even go talk to the parole officer. I've seen Cat personally come down to that cell block and say, Mr. Forbes, they want you at parole. He'll tell Cat, Fuck that parole. Tell that parole officer, I said, fuck you, I ain't going. I don't want to see no parole officer. Give me my freedom. Let me go. I ain't committed no crime. Cat would say, all right, Mr. Forbes, I'll relay your message and walk away. If Cat himself come and talk to you, that's unusual. Normally he'll just send one of the inmate guards, tell that dude he better get his ass down there before we kick the shit out of him. That's normally what his procedure was. But he respected the hell out of Mr. Forbes. Well, Cat, the only inmates he did respect was people who done made major moves in prison. He didn't respect people who talk about doing it. He respect you when you do it. Now, I noticed all the guys at Remedy who was really had a little juice with Cat, these guys done made some major damn moves in the prison. He did not like no passive-ass inmate. He did not like those type of guys. Now, here's some of the old guys who done, they old now, they retired, they don't get into no shit no more. But they got the history. And they earned it. Because back then, they didn't give you anything. You had to earn it. Nobody was going to give you shit. And I had people in the comment section ask me about how did the turnkeys or the other inmates deal with a guy who they thought was actually innocent. Number one, they didn't know you was actually innocent. They worried about their own damn case. And number two, another inmate really ain't going to believe shit you tell him about you didn't commit the crime. He ain't going to believe that. Prison really is a negative fucking environment. The guards are negative. The inmates are negative. It's every man for himself. Everybody's worrying about how to get their ass out of there. They not worried about your case. You know, I've been around a lot of the guys who were declared actual innocent. A lot of the movie Thin Blue Line. That me and that guy was at East Ham together. We was in the craft shop together. Anybody who would talk to this man, he would tell you he did not kill that police officer. He would tell you that I did not do it. And the few guys I've been around, it always come out later that they were telling the truth. Because you ain't got no reason to lie to another convict. Hell, he got on the same fucking prison clothes you got on. There ain't nothing he can do to help your case. He can't give you a parole. He can't make you your serving your sentence easier. Ain't nothing he can do. He worried about taking care of his own back door. Once at the Ramsey unit, it was I had just got there. It was 1976. And he had two twin brothers there out of West Dallas, who I knew from the West Dallas Boys Club. I go over there and box. They'd be over there also. They were two twins, Fred Carl Walker and Freddie Carl Walker. Now, these two guys are successful. They own a convenience store in Houston now. They are successful. They graduated from the prison college program, got them a BA in business administration, and they got out of prison and put it to good use. Now, Fred Carl Walker, he had 75. His twin brother, Freddie, had 60. They had robbed a cab driver in West Dallas for $1.50. And they gave them first offenders. They gave them that much time. Anyway, they had a sergeant at Ramsey named Sergeant Jack. A sorry son of a bitch. Boy, this white man is so sorry. He's sorry than old Lord, Captain Bad, all of them put together. They ain't sorry than sorry Jack. He's sorry. He ain't bad. He's sorry. I seen guys working. He'll ride by and kick him in the face on that horse. Or stomp him. You doing some work, he ride up and stomp you in the back with the cowboy boots on, the spurs on. This man's sorry. You got a disciplinary, and you went in Red Ryder's office, they're going to beat your ass up in that office. You got an ass whooping coming along with your other punishment. Well, anyway, one of the twins had, we was out chopping cotton, and he had did something. And Sergeant Jack tell him to put him on the wall. That means you got a disciplinary. Put him on the wall this evening. That means you got disciplinary. So anyway, I was coming out of the chow hall late that evening. You got to pass Red Ryder office in order to go to the cell block. Man, I hear all that damn rumbling up in that office, and one of the other twins had stopped in the hallway. He was standing there looking. Now, one of them is left-handed, one is right-handed. Both of these guys can fight. They attended the West Dallas Boys Club, so they know how to fight. I used to go over there every day to learn how to box. Anyway, you could hear all that rumbling and hollering and screaming up in that office. Then his brother said, man, he jumping my damn brother. He ran in that office. Man, them two twins whooped everybody in that office. Now, this particular day, all the field guards weren't in there. Normally be about 10 of them in there with and then it's the dog sergeant, Captain Bad, Sergeant Jack, Red Rider himself, the High Rider. There'd be a whole bunch of motherfuckers in that office to beat your ass. And they got them boots and spurs and shit on. Well, anyway, these two twins, they whooped everybody in that office. Sergeant Jack come out of that office screaming. Both of them twins were on his ass. Red Rider, they already knocked his ass out in there. Old Lord wasn't in there that particular day. He had went home. Sergeant Mater, they TKO'd him. The dog sergeant, he come out of there running down the hallway. So they got Sergeant Jack. I mean, these two twins stomped him like he was an inmate. Boy, they whooped his ass. So finally, the turnkeys start hollering, fight, fight. They run up and they stop. And Cat hear all the shit in the hallway. He come out there himself. So when Cat walk up, he tell him, he say, that's enough. Don't y'all hit him no more. That's enough. So then all the turnkeys gonna want to swarm him. At that particular time, Burr wasn't, I didn't see Burr nowhere around. It was old sorry ass turnkey they called Doll Eyes from Fort Worth. Big 400-pound homosexual turnkey. He run up there with a riot baton. Cat stopped him. He said, y'all ain't gonna fuck with him. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He told him, say, ain't nobody gonna bother y'all. The man respect you if you had some goddamn nuts. You didn't have no nuts. He don't give a shit about you. He don't care what happened to you. And he said, leave him alone. And Sergeant Jack finally got himself together. He said, Cat, I don't know what you feed them niggas. He said, you give them too much food. They too healthy. They almost done beat me to death. I mean, they did a good deed, because that sorry son of a bitch quit after that. That ass whooping made him quit. He resigned that same day. We got rid of his, boy, that man was pitiful. What they did, they took the two twins to lock up. They kept Fred at the Ramsey unit, and his twin, Freddie, they transferred him over to the Retrieve unit in Angleton. Later, it became the Wayne Scott unit. Now it's closed. It's not even a prison no more. You know what I gleaned from all this and the other incidents that I witnessed? That these turnkeys and inmate guards, they wasn't invincible. All it took was a little unity from the inmates. We could have tore their ass up. We didn't need no federal court. But this shit was so harsh until people were scared to band together. Because if they got wind of it, man, they would attack you when you was asleep or whatever. They didn't have no rules on how to win. They'll attack you when you was asleep. They didn't give a shit. You in the shower, shampoo, soap all in your head. They come right on in that shower and beat the hell out you. They ain't cut you no slack. But guys was afraid to band together. Because it seemed like every time inmates would try something, some kind of way the inmate guards get wind of it and everybody get fucked off. Because back then they still was killing people. A lot of people were getting killed. I mean, a lot of people were getting killed. And it wasn't none of these bullshit ass prison gangs that they got now. I keep telling people Texas did not have none of that bullshit. That shit basically started about 83 on the downside of the inmate guards. When they started getting rid of the inmate guards and all of a sudden all these other clowns jumped up talking about their gang. Why you wasn't no gang when they had these fools? We needed a gang. We didn't need that federal judge. We could have easily got rid of these fools. Could have easily got rid of them. And I've seen a lot of guys win who had some heart. That's what would inspire me. I said, man, it's possible that you can beat these fuckers. But you had to take them extreme violence. You couldn't go to them bullshit, but they would tear your ass up. You had to take them extreme violence. You had to do something to shock their conscience, to get them that pause factor. When they do that, they really don't know what to do with you. So you got to take them a full charge. Now, I noticed that when I first had a run-in with an inmate guard, they had transferred me from East Town to Ramsey 2. And I stabbed one of them on East Ham, on Ramsey 2 early in the morning. It's the Screenfellow unit now. They didn't know what to do. They wasn't used to that kind of shit happening at no Ramsey 2. They inmate guards, oh, that's sorry as hell. I mean, that's the sorriest prison I ever been at was Ramsey 2. I'm talking about sorry. They way sorry. In East Ham, Ellis, all those units wasn't sorry than Ramsey 2. These fuckers are sorry for real. And the guards who ran it, they sorry in hell. They had a big fat ass major named they called Big G, Major Grimmin. A sorry ass fucking man. Anyway, I didn't get jumped. They just walked me to lockup. And they hurried up and transferred me that that happened early in the morning, about 3-something in the morning. By 9 o'clock, they had put me in a van and drove me over to Ramsey 1, which is right down the street. Got me off that prison. I didn't get beat up or nothing. When I got to Ramsey 1, I had to talk to Cat. First time me meeting Cat, I had heard about Cat. I didn't get beat up. I was young, but I wasn't afraid. I already had said these fuckers gonna kill me, so I ain't got nothing to lose. And I had been at East Ham and saw a tough guy actually whooped by 10 inmate guards by himself, a guy named David Crockett. I seen that inspired me. I said, this is one man. I used to say, man, these people is not invincible. This is one man by himself. They could not handle David Crockett. David Crockett tore their ass off the bone. By himself. If anybody would have helped him, he would have slaughtered their ass. And I look at how that warden at East Ham, which was Billy McMillan, another fucked up warden just like Cat, I looked at how he handled that. He told him to leave Crockett alone. Crockett didn't go to lockup. He didn't go to shit. He went back in the day room and sit down and said, fuck y'all, I'm not going no lockup. And that was the end of that. They left Crockett alone. So I knew these guys were not invincible. It just seemed that way. You see them assault so many guys and beat them down. Guys mysteriously found hung in their cell and all kind of crazy ass shit was going on before that federal judge intervened in Texas prison. Then I had somebody in the comment section ask me, what prison am I talking about? And naturally, you not paying any interest in my content. If I was saying the Ramsey unit, the East Ham unit, if you Google that, you see that's a Texas prison. And all Texas prison inmates wear white clothes. Arkansas inmates wear white clothes. Those two states wear solid white clothes. Now, that should have been easy to figure out. But be that as it may, I'm specifically talking about back then, it wasn't the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. It was known as TDC, Texas Department of Correction. That's the former name of the Texas prison system. But the two twins, like I said, they live in Houston now. I just looked up where one of them, a couple years ago, just shot a guy inside of his store. Guy was buying some cigarettes, and they had an argument about the price of the cigarette. So the guy threw the cigarettes in his face, and he shot him. And he got 6 months in the county jail for that. The two twins are doing good. They went into business. They own a store. I ain't going to tell you the name of the store or none of that, but they own a grocery store in Houston. They doing good for themselves. Follow me over on Patreon. The link will be in the description. I need my likes. Like and subscribe. And I thank you for watching.